And now I'd like to introduce Rola Tibshirani. She's an outstanding progressive educator. She's at All Saints High School with the Ottawa Catholic School Board. Rola is a National Geographic certified teacher who integrates project-based learning with the power of geoliteracy knowledge and skills in all of her teaching. And Rola, I'd welcome you to present on geographical perspectives.
Thank you. Very happy to be here today. And actually, my students should follow up to what Mr. Geddes just presented, because we're basically talking about the same thing and very similar as well. So maybe my grade 8. So I'm presently teaching grade 8 at St. Francis Xavier. So I just changed from All Saints, and I'm French immersion grade 8 teacher. So I'm just going to go back here. And so I'm living in Ottawa, donc j'enseigne tout en français, all in French. And so my perspectives on geographic, so exactly what was just presented earlier. And geography is a science for everything. It's a cross-curricular, connects all perspectives. So I'm coming as a parent as well, how my kids also learn to learn through geography and learn about all the perspectives. So how does geography impact all the perspective from historical, ecological, geological, spatial, and of course cultural and ecological. So when we talk about classroom or we talk about perspective, not only that we are really valuing students' perspective, but students, how do they value what is going on in the world, and how do they use that perspective to connect to their learning and become those global educators, as we've heard in the previous presentation, using inquiry process and relating that to their everyday life and developing their skills. So that geography really is the essence for the skill and the vision for interconnection to the world. So I always start within our community, we are geography within itself. We all bring perspectives to our learning. And how do we take those perspectives and value everybody and look at everyday accessibility and how is that plays a part in really unpacking all those perspectives that we talk about the historical. So what is the ecology piece of it and what is the cultural piece of it? And so spatial as well. So it's building more as a community as well from within our school. And we look at our school community, what perspectives are we looking at in the school that we need to improve? What kind of things do we need to unpack and really problem solve and collect data on and build those skills from thinking skills to problem solving to inquiry and to design as well. So I'll be focusing on those perspectives. So when students sees the causes and the consequences through curriculum inquiry, so how do these perspectives really interconnect? And it's not just like a geography in itself, but it's also all of the other cross-curricular when we talk about culture and history, and it continues the whole year and they make those references to all those perspectives. So of course, everything is tied into the sustainability. So whatever we're doing, as was just mentioned in the previous presentation, when you look at their product and you do that assessment and the evaluation and you look at that perspectives. So how did this product come about? What was the sustainability and the production of it from historical? What was its need? How is it cultural? How is that implemented? And having to do all those assessment and data collection. So we use survey 1, 2, 3, but also we use a lot of thinking tools to really unpack those perspectives, understand those causes and consequences, and really interconnect that to the curriculum and unpack those learning and having to also not within our community to search, but also to connect to experts and learn how that evolves and unpacks as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sharing an album here. And so the students, I'm just going to go and share. Can you still see my screen or do I have to keep sharing? Right. So when we talk about the connection all the way through, so I'm just going to use an album here. And so when we talk about causes and consequences, so the students really looked about, we started with the COVID within our school. How do we keep our school community healthy? How does that perspective, how is it geographical? How is it ecological? How is it historical, cultural? And so they did a lot of data, a lot of collection on what's going on, what kind of problem solving we do. So that we use something called the causal model. And so we also took on to the climate change as well, to the Sustainable Development Global Goals. And we looked at how all these goals are interconnected as well. So these are just some photos from within the classroom. We also did use a lot in technology for designing as well. So we were measuring CO2 in the classroom and measuring the temperature, having to really connect with the custodians and talk about the filtration in the air, and having to really keeping the air healthy within the classroom, and the progression we're doing. Obviously, when you're connecting to SDGs and the students have connected globally with other classrooms, so we're presenting with India here, connecting about how are we tackling the climate change and how we're coping with the situation with COVID and what is going on. So this is just a classroom from India. We talk about the cultural, the historical, all those connections that the kids have connected with. So that's the key, is really to connect and share their perspectives and make the world much smaller as we connect together. We take also microbits outside. We do some real data measurements. We look at the humidity, we look at the temperature, we look at the changes, we study the soil. We go through all the cross-curricular perspective and integration of all the aspects of what is geography. So we've also done within Africa, we've talked about all around the world. So it's all about connecting and sharing perspective from around the world. So that's the key. And then the students took on a big project within our city. And there was a project of how do we, Ottawa in 2050, it's going to be with zero emissions. What kind of a city are we going to design? So the students used the, I'm just going to go back to the presentation here. The students used, they use the microbits, but also they use Minecraft. So they listen to podcasts, they listen to many people presenting about the city of Ottawa, what would that look like. And so then they designed the whole city of Ottawa. They took different parts of the city that they were going to be developed and they used Minecraft to develop. And they connected to many experts, stakeholders online in order to get the information, to get feedback about their design. So it's about design thinking and iterating that idea and taking that idea and really progressing and getting experts online. And those experts become really lifelong learners with us because they were invited as well within the classroom to really connect and meet with us as well. So there are many people that they have email, so it's cross-curricular. We talk about how things are developing as well, and what kind of tools are we needing to use, and how are we going to be connecting to problem solve. So they designed the city of Ottawa. They got feedback, and a lot of things that they use also with the city of Ottawa. They that some of the engineers are going to really use their idea, especially the one that they came up with regarding the roads and the parks and all the design that they have shared. So the students really become very confident and build those confidence within themselves. And I'm just going to take you here to the album again. And as you can see, the students also, not only they were interested in just the design for the city of Ottawa and connecting to around the world, but also we looked at ecology and we looked at the farming. What kind of farming, agriculture are we doing nowadays to really keep it sustainable and green? So they met with a scientist from Quebec as well, and a farmer who really works on farming. And so that was the presentations that they have done. So it's really perspective is developing everything that is around them, making them aware of how and the why, as was already presented, and the how. The main thing is, why are we doing this? Why learn? And also having to take action is the key to this, is what kind of action taking are we doing? And both classes did different things on sustainability. And we looked at the sustainability, how does it, it's social, economical, the principle of sustainability, as well as political. So how do these sustainability develop and go along? And so the students continued with their design, they continued to sharing and developing. We also looked at the school, how can we improve the school? So they interviewed the principal, they talked to the custodians as well. So we look at a community, we develop perspectives from within the schools going all the way around the world. So that's the perspective that the students develop and keep developed going around with it, as well as going through different thinking models. So the perspective of really developing what is thinking, and so looking at a lot of inference, which they collect data, analyze, or they look up that ladder and they see which data is missing and what assumptions did I make along the way. So I'm just going to quickly share with you here a book. So when we talk about cross-curricular, so they're developing, I don't teach them math because they don't take math in French, but I connect to as well my colleagues. And so here we are looking at the causes, the consequences, connecting all these causes, consequences, using the SMART goal, using the design thinking process as well, and developing their skills from literacy to science to math to everything that they have to work on as well. And that if you would like to reach and connect with me, so I look forward to connecting and learning. We're always looking for experts online, and so whenever you get a chance to join, please do. And so then that'll take us to our next presentation here. We'll just keep moving this far over, and that's it. If there's any questions or anything.
Thank you very much, Rola.